Hi guys, this is Alelo Sylvester and today I'm going to show you how I consistently make over $1,000 trading the news. I welcome you to Digital Cash Point FX Special. Digital Cash Point is an online community for technical traders where I give up-to-date analysis on Forex, cryptocurrencies and stocks. And today we'll be talking about fundamental trading. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. My channel is relatively new, so I would really love if you could hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon to get updated when I post content like this. So without further ado, let's dive right into it.
Hey.
Hi, welcome back. So real quick, I just have to mention that this video is not like any other video out there on YouTube. This is not straddle strategy. This is my basic system, and this is how I analyze and trade the news. And basically what I did is that I collected some randomly used indicators, some trading concepts, and placed it together to come up with a working strategy that I've been using for years to trade the news, and it has been working effectively 90% of the time. And that is what I'll be showing you guys, basically how I analyze, how I set up, and how I trade the news. All right, and I've decided to break this teaching into 3 segments. And part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 1 will be the introduction into the system, and part 2 will be the structures and the timings, and part 3 will be the entry triggers. All right, so this video is the part 1 of the series, so please make sure you watch the part 2, which is the structure and the timing, and part 3, so that you can have an holistic idea of how the system works. All right, so let's get right into it. The Forex market is a high risk and highly volatile market. Trading might result to loss of part of your entire equity. Proper risk management should be applied in all trades. The presentation explained within only act as a guide to profitable trading. It is not a financial advice. Digital Cash Point will not be held liable for misuse or loss of equity. All right, so let's get right into it. What is fundamental trade? What is fundamental trading? And fundamental trading in Forex is a method when a trader focuses on specific events around a specific currency to determine the direction of its currency pairs, or when to buy or when to sell. All right, it is taking the information from scheduled news releases and trying to analyze the market based on the information, the macro information that you've been able to gather from, the current happenings and the things that are currently affecting price. And one thing I also want to make mention is that a lot of times traders want to create a discrepancy between fundamental trading and sentimental trading, but in reality, fundamental trading is not that different from sentimental trading. All right, it is when the news comes out, when the news has been released in Forex Factory or Bloomberg, whatever you go to get your news, it creates a sentiment about the market, about that pair, about that currency, and that sentiment about the pair is what drives a lot of fundamental traders into making a decision whether to buy a currency or whether to sell that currency. And what is also important to note is that the question here should be, is the sentiment created around the news, is it worth trading in the direction of the news or not? And this is basically what I will be talking about during the course of this introductory session. All right, some of the major misconceptions about the Forex market and also about fundamental trading is that, one, is that the Forex market is random. And I'm going to say this to you right now, that the Forex market is not random. Do you think that $6.6 trillion will just be floating around in the market without some form of, system to ensure that, things do not go beyond a certain margin? So it is tightly regulated. The forex market is not random. It is very organized. It is very orchestrated. Every move you see in the forex market symbolizes something. All right, and part of your journey as trader is being able to identify those price patterns, those price structures, those price actions that happen within a given time frame. All right, because they all tell you, they all give you an information on what futuristic price range will be like. All right, so that is one of the major misconceptions.
Right, every move, every action, every price movement you see in the market is stipulated to do a specific thing. And that is where psychology of trading becomes very invaluable. Get this right, right? So the market is very organized. Every move in the market symbolizes a certain action. And that is why price action is one of the most key tool that traders can use or utilize to understand the direction of the market, right? So the market is not random. The market is very, very, very organized.
The second is that the impact of the news is a reflection of what the news says, either good or bad. And that is a big lie, because we've seen in recent times whereby the news for a particular currency can be negative and then that currency buys. All right, so the question now remains, what is driving price? And a lot of times when you go on CNBC and you get a lot of information on this price movement, you get to hear things like the traders didn't buy to the negative news on the euro, so then the euro bought and all of that stuff, right? Well, in reality, that is not the reason why the market eventually did what it did. And then that is what I'm going to be showing you guys as we progress during the class. All right, so the impact of the news is not a reflection of what the news says. All right, the impact is simply based on the larger scale of things. All right, the structure in which the market or the chart is trying to portray, right, at that given time frame. And it's very, very, very important that you understand this. And one other misconception is that everyone sees the news at the same time. The news is scheduled, right? So all of the news we get are scheduled news releases. That simply means that the information about the news has been gotten before it's been released. All right, so do not for a moment think that this news, when it's been released, that is when all traders, that is when everyone sees the information and then makes a decision on how to trade that pair. All right, you should get that off your mind and just know that this news is scheduled. So the impact of the news is already in play even before the news comes out. All right, and that will also guide you and help you make your decisions on how to trade the news. And one other thing is that it is impossible to know the direction of the news. The direction of the news will drive the price, and that is also another big lie. All right, the news, fundamental trading, or the release of news is basically a yardstick for the market makers to complete your cycle, complete your patterns, all right, at a faster rate. All right, so you should know that it is not impossible for you to know the direction at which price will go when a news has been released. All right, because the news is simply a plot for the market makers to complete your cycle. And if you're able to identify these patterns, right, you just trade those patterns, and then the news just helps the market occupy or go through that distance at a faster rate. All right, so that is just one thing. And what are the things you need basically to run this system or run this strategy. And the first is that you want to make sure that you have an account with a true ECN broker, and broker that offers you a fixed spread or a very, very tight spread, because one of the advantages they have over traders in the market is the spread, and the spread is one of the things that prevents traders from trading the news effectively, because whenever the news is about to release about to be released, you notice that the spread widens up, and that tends to prevent traders from getting a good feel or a good entry on the market. That is why you want to be in the trade 15 minutes or few minutes before the actual news comes out. All right, so that is that. And one other thing you need is basically you need to have a proper knowledge of market psychology. And in my subsequent videos on YouTube, I will be talking about the proper market psychology and how to analyze the market from the market perspective. All right, and the next that we're going to look at is you need to know what you're up against. All right, I heard somewhere that it takes over 10,000 lot size to move the market just a single pip. All right, so that is equivalent to over $100,000 for the market to move a single pip. What that means is that your ideas or your perception about the market, right, is irrelevant to the actual direction that the market will move. All right, so you need to understand that you're up against the huge financial institutions, you're up against central banks, you're up against hedge funds, people that have quite, I wouldn't want to say an unlimited equity, but they have a quite huge equity in the marketplace, and they tend to trade heavily, and they push price in the direction that they want price to go. So your goal as a trader or as a retail trader is try to identify these directions that the market makers, the trendsetters, will move the market to, and try to trade in alignment with them. All right, and lastly, you need a good internet. You need a good net provider, and so that you can quickly execute your positions and close your positions with time. All right. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses as a trader, and how does this help you, in trading the news? Right. One of the weaknesses, that you have as a trader is that you have no power over the spread, which I mentioned a few moments ago. The spread basically is being set by a broker, and you have no power over the spread. The best you can do is to try to open an account with a broker that offers you a fixed spread, or a broker that offers you a very tight spread. If not, you're going to see a lot of spread changes during the time the news will be released, and you want to avoid that as much as possible.
So their ability to manipulate the spread, will always keep you or prevent you from being profitable. All right, the ability to widen the spread, manipulate it to some certain extent. The bid price is moving, the ask price is kept static. The ask price is moving, the bid price is kept static, right? The spread just opens up about 10 pips, right? So all of those things, right, tends to prevent retail traders from getting a good feel about the market. So that is one of the weaknesses that you have as a retail trader. All right, so you only want to enter a trade at a certain point, right? And you want to put your stop loss at the point where you know that your stop loss will not be triggered every single moment of every trade. All right, so I'm going to show you where your stop loss goes, right? And if your stop loss is there, please just note this: if you even get the direction of the market properly, your stop loss is insignificant. I'm just telling you the truth, right? If you are able to analyze what I'm going to show you, and you're able to put them to practice, your stop loss is insignificant. Your stop loss will not be hit. But just as a safety net, right, you always want to use a stop loss for every trade, and I'll show you where your stop loss goes, right? The stop loss is usually 15 pips away from the point of entry, and I'll show you how to enter the trade. 15 pips, that's a very tight stop loss, right? A lot of persons trade with stop loss ranging from 20, 30, 40 pips, but I will show you how to minimize your stop loss, right, and then maximize your profit. So you are looking at a ratio of 1:5 for a particular trade, 1:4. That's very good. You are risking 1%, right? You are risking 1% of your account, and then you are trying to get up to at least 5%, 5% of your account size, right? So that is that. So you need to understand that you have no power over the spread, and that is why also dealing with a true ECN broker or a broker that offers you a fixed spread or a very tight spread is also very, very important, so that even when the spread widens up, right, it doesn't really affect your account size. All right, so that is that.
The second thing here is that as a weakness is that you have a limited equity, and that simply means you have to be very, very, very careful and very decisive on the kinds of trades that you take. And you don't have to trade every news. You have to be selective on the kind of news that you trade, and then I'll be showing you the kind of news that you can identify and the setups that you can take. Thirdly, you can this is more or less like an advantage for retail traders in the sense that we can follow the breadcrumbs. We're able to see the footprints of the trend makers, and when properly analyzed, we can trade in alignment with them. So this is an advantage to retail traders, being able to see their footprints through price action, through chart patterns, and all of that. All right, and lastly, because of leverage and correlations and price, you can maximize your wins, and that's an addition for retail traders as well, through the ability for you to increase your lot size with leverage, and also correlation of price, in the sense what is happening in one currency pair can also be reflected in another currency pair that is tightly regulated. So that can also be an added benefit to retail traders. All right, so what are the components of this system, and how are you going to trade the system? And I've divided the components of the system into basically 5. What you need a session indicator. If you're working with your laptop. If you're not working with your laptop, you're working with your phones, I'm still going to show you how to identify that on your phone and your mobile phone, and how to trade in alignment with the system. What else do you need? You need to understand or know the currency strength at that given period of time, and I'll show you how to identify the right conditions in which the currency strength can be traded. And then we're going to look at the structure of the system, which we will be trading, and then we'll look at the timings and the price action. All right, so all of these things are what come together, and when the news is released, you can trade the news with optimum accuracy, and it always goes in profit. So for this introductory session, we'll be talking basically about the sessions indicators and the currency strength. Specifically, I'll be talking about the currency strength because I believe you guys already understand what a sessions indicator are. There's no need going to the explanation for that. So
thanks for watching. If this video was enlightening, kindly click the like button and leave a comment, as your comment will go a long way in helping me in subsequent videos. Make sure you check out the part 2 and part 3 of this series. I will be putting everything together with major analysis. Till then, never stop trading.